Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen our YouTube channel. I do a lot of like these camping chairs.
I know, I saw that.
This is like the first one in front of an ID.Buzz.
Oh,
so it's kind of
special.
funny. Yeah, it's kind of fun for us.
That is special. Thank you for inviting us here. We are so thrilled.
Yeah.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back to the VW ID Talk podcast. I'm Wes, and we're so glad that you're here. If you're passionate about Volkswagen, about EVs, all things ID.Buzz, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. Don't forget, you can also catch us on your favorite podcast platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Overdrive. We have an RSS feed, and obviously we have this on YouTube for more visual experience.
Hey, so today we are bringing you an exciting on-site episode from Peace Vans.
Okay.
Where we were exploring some incredible camper solutions for the ID.Buzz. And we talk about options that Peace Vans offer, from modular kitchen setups to full camper builds. And there is a lot to love. So let's get into it. Hello, so we are here in Peace Vans with Harley, the owner and the founder. So can you tell us a little bit more about Peace Vans? And of course, everybody is seeing the bus behind us. But we'll get there.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I'm really excited to talk about Peace Vans and what we're doing with the ID.Buzz. This is Josie. She will come in and out of the frame. She's a puppy. I worked at Microsoft for many years, and I did tech startups. And
so you're Seattle-based, right?
Yeah, Seattle-based.
That's the Microsoft connection.
Yes, exactly. I was living in the Bay Area for a long time, and Microsoft recruited me for a job in 2002 and moved up here. And then in 2007, 8, I left Microsoft and did some small business stuff. And then Peace Vans is an interesting story. It's the classic small business story where I owned a 80s era Volkswagen van again, and like anyone owns an old Volkswagen, it kept breaking down. I'm not a mechanic. So I found a mechanic, and they were terrible, like most mechanics that work on old cars. And but it had a cool name, and it had an interesting lease, and the owner was kind of crazy, and he was closing the business. I was like, well, don't close the business. Like, I'll take it over.
Nice, okay.
And, I went home and told my wife, hey, I'm going to take over this Volkswagen van shop. And, she was like, that's freaking crazy. Like, what are you thinking? And I was like, no, honey, it's going to be fun. It's going to be great. And she's like, whatever. And so I was like, that's usually a good sign that what I'm doing is the right thing, that when my wife thinks it's a crazy idea. So I took over Peace Vans, and that was 2013, and we were losing money, and we only had 4 people. And fast forward to now, what is it, 2024, the end of 2024?
Yes,
we have
11 years.
Yeah, 11 years. We have about 30 people. We're not losing money, thankfully. We're into the roughly high 7, low 8 figures of revenue. We have 6 different lines of businesses. Really quickly, what we do at Peace Vans is we repair and restore old Volkswagen camper vans. We have a rental business where we rent Volkswagens.
That's exciting. I'd love to talk about that.
The rentals are super fun. They're based in Seattle, and we actually have 5 classic Volkswagens that live in southern Baja, which is a whole nother story, another idea that I had that my wife was like, that's stupid. And it's been a lot of fun. And then we have a business where we work on the big Sprinter vans and help support owners with those. And then we have the business we call Peace Vans Electric, where we take old air-cooled, primarily VWs, and convert those to electric. We have an app called Seeker, S-E-K-R, for finding campsites and all that. Recently, And then what we're going to talk about today a lot is what we call our modern business, which really started with the Mercedes Metris. And it was really, I wanted to build on Volkswagen back in the day. That when, I wanted a modern VW camper, but they were just Volkswagen never had a vehicle in the US. And so we went with Mercedes and their Metris platform. And that was a really successful product for us. We built about 1,000 of those over about 6 years. And then when Volkswagen announced, this thing behind us, the ID.Buzz, well, let's be clear, Volkswagen announced it like 15 years ago. I really think it was the Detroit Auto Show in 2010, where they first talked about a new microbus. And then, a couple years ago, it really became a real thing, and then Europe. And so, now the ID.Buzz is here in the US, and we are just so excited about it. To really take a Volkswagen product and to recreate the outdoor camping lifestyle experiences that are just so critical to living a good life. And then also, it's critical to the whole Volkswagen ethos.
Yes.
And I don't know, it's just it feels like such, I talk about this a lot, but it feels like such a privilege to be able to continue this long legacy of outdoor road trip camping, and just to support that, and to now finally have a modern Volkswagen to do that with, and not just any modern Volkswagen. Like this vehicle, I mean, I've only had it 8-9 days. The number of times people have come up and hugged it, like hugged a car, is like it's high. It's a lot of people in just 8 or 9 days. So it's like a privilege, a joy. I just feel so lucky to be able to do this. So I think we're going to talk a lot about that, but so I hope that was a good introduction.
That was awesome. Thank you so much. And so, just out of curiosity, because of course you mentioned the outdoors life, so do you have any spaces in Washington or somewhere where you kind of take your camper and turn off?
I do.
You don't have to reveal the specific
yes,
details,
I know. So a couple of things. Yeah. So I definitely have my secret spots, and actually now post some of those on our app Seeker, but I keep a few really close to the fold. But personally, like my two favorite places to go in Washington, it's the San Juan Islands, which aren't great for camping because there's actually not great options. There's a couple state parks. There's not a lot of off-grid camping, which I really enjoy doing. But getting on the ferry, for those of you watching that have never been to Washington State and taking advantage of our ferry system up here, there's just something incredibly magical about driving your car onto the ferry. Like you instantly feel the stress fading behind you as the mainland recedes and you go out onto the open water. And then you get to like offload from the ferry onto an island and drive around on the island. And I don't know, I just love that. And the other place I love going is anywhere on the Olympic Peninsula. Olympic National Park, for those of you not watching, the Olympic National Park, it is the most varied national park in the United States. There's a rainforest, a temperate rainforest. There's big giant beaches. There's old growth forests. There's snow-capped mountains. There's rushing rivers. There's hot springs. There's even a desert. The town of Sequim technically qualifies as a desert.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just like, the Olympic Peninsula is just crazy how much is going on there. And then I'll usually we have a spot just south of the Kalaloch Lodge. We have a little campground that we lease down there, and that's kind of my super secret retreat.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And of course, you mentioned that you're renting. Maybe this might be at the rental.
Yeah. We are going to have a few ID.Buzzes in the rental fleet in the spring. We're primarily going to only let them go for a night or two. Customers want to try them out.
Exactly.
And that spot I just mentioned out in Kalaloch, we're actually this week, we're in December right now, we are installing a level 2 charging system out there.
Oh, wow.
So we're writing the check. Yeah, we're writing the check. We're going to run power out to this site. And it's right on the bluff overlooking the Pacific. So you'll be able to plug your vehicle in, recharge overnight, and have the complete outdoor experience.
Love it, love it. And you also have a number of the vans in Baja.
Yeah.
So people they don't need to come to Seattle. They can fly in to
So Cabo or La Paz. Alaska Airlines has just restarted their flights from LA to La Paz, and they'll be starting Seattle to La Paz next year. But Cabo has thousands of international flights every day, so you can fly in there. And so the Baja thing that's something really close to my heart. Like my first big trip in my 20s was down the Baja Peninsula, and that's actually where my love of Volkswagen vans started.
Oh, wow.
Seeing them down there, and I was like, oh my God, that and a bunch of Grateful Dead shows in the 90s. And so, but the opportunity presented itself to do business in Baja and to take a few vans down there and rent them. And be transparent, it kind of loses money, but it's so much fun, and it's such a joy to offer that experience to people, to actually go to a foreign country, rent a classic Volkswagen van, and the vans are perfectly suited. They go slow. You want to go slow in Baja. They're a little old, so they can get scratched up, no big deal. And we have these magical campsites we've sourced and these itineraries, and you have 24/7 support from the team, and it's an amazing experience.
Check out the website because you can sign up.
Yeah, and we do have a few trips for 25 still available.
Yeah.
Usually it sells out, and it will sell out, but there are a few trips for 2025 still available.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. Now let's talk about Buzz.
Yeah.
So tell us, what options are you thinking about the Buzz, or what options will be?
So the ID.Buzz, we're the first in the U.S. to actually create custom camping solutions for the ID.Buzz, and we've been working on them for 6 months.
And you've been working very closely with Volkswagen.
Yeah, we have. For legal reasons, I am not working directly with Volkswagen, but I we have great partnerships there, and really the teams enjoy what we're doing. And you know, it's been just, like I said earlier, it's just an honor and a privilege to actually create camping solutions. So what we're doing, we have a whole variety of products. The first one is a rear kitchen box, and you can look in our YouTube channel or our website and see the details of that, and maybe we'll grab some B-roll or something. The kitchen box takes place of the third row of seats in the ID.Buzz, and it's a custom-built box for the ID.Buzz. Like, we could have bought something off the shelf, or done what a lot of other vendors do, really like take cheap materials and just put something together. But you'll see our custom kitchen box. It fits perfectly into the ID.Buzz, takes advantage of a lot of the ID.Buzz features.
You use every inch of the vehicle, right?
Yeah, and the way it origamis out of the vehicle, and it leverages our almost 15 years experience with Volkswagens, with the Westfalia thinking.
That's right.
Like when we hit design problems, I always tell my team, like, just go out to the frickin' parking lot and look at the 50 Westfalias we have. Like, that shit, like, still is amazing 40, 50 years later. Like, I don't think any consumer product ever nailed the scenario better than Westfalia with the camp mobiles and the Volkswagens. Like, I mean, those, and it's like the stuff is still like works. 40 years later. So that was our bar, was like a Westfalia feel and quality. So we have the rear kitchen box, and then we have an extension to that if these middle rows of seats fold down, something will fold out and extend out over those to create a sleeping platform. Just so nice, because if you have the ID.Buzz with the panoramic glass roof, it's super cool to lay there at night, look at the stars, and then just one touch, and the ceiling goes opaque and you can go night-night.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so is there an option if I, as a customer, maybe I'll start with the box and then can I add on the sleeper?
Absolutely. We designed it to be modular.
Okay, love it.
And buying those products, you can either, a bunch of different ways. We are working with a bunch of dealers that will stock these products, and you can, as you order your Buzz, you can sort of talk to them about it. If you are watching this and your dealer doesn't know about Peace Fans, just tell them. We'll ship them product and they'll install it. We're going to be able to actually ship the unit to you directly. It's a little heavy and it's a little tricky to install, but it just takes some muscle.
I see.
And then a lot of people just come to Seattle and road trip up here, and we install the products for them. And then we do have another version where we remove both rows of seats.
So including the second row seats.
And we do what we call like a full camper build out. And that looks a lot like, the aesthetic everyone dreams about. And we're in the final prototyping of that.
Bench, right?
And what we're doing with that is, it's amazing. Like, I'm so proud of the team, just the thoughtfulness and the Easter eggs that are in there and the way it all works together. And there's a little sink, stove, fridge in there, sleeping for two. We are constrained on that there is no capacity for rear passengers at that point. So we hope in a year and a half time, we'll have a DOT approved seat with seat belts. But for now, we're just, telling people, like, it's a two-person van at that point for that configuration.
For that configuration makes sense.
And then we're also working to build a pop top.
Pop top.
Yes,
wow.
everyone's favorite feature of everything.
That's iconic.
Yeah, it is.
That's the next level.
And it's, if you read our materials, we phrase it that way, and it's like, what about the pop top? And so we're working with the global leader in pop top manufacturing. It's a company called CF Meyer, and they have a subsidiary called SCA, and they're gonna build the pop top for us. And they build pop tops for Volkswagen and Mercedes and Fiat and everyone in Europe, and we've been installing their pop tops here for 7 years in the US, and it's going to be an amazing product, and that will be ready sometime around Q4 of 25.
Okay.
And we're very diligent. That will be crash tested. We were talking earlier off camera. We'll actually roll a vehicle to make sure that top is safe and meets all the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards for that, which we did with Mercedes. So we feel like we're very
high bar.
Yeah, and we're very safety conscious here. It's inexpensive but a meaningful step to take.
Totally.
So that's what we're doing with the ID.Buzz.
Thank you.
So quick pause here. Did you know that while many people have test driven the ID.Buzz, Harley is actually one of the first people in the US to use it as his daily driver? His firsthand experience gives us a unique and practical perspective on how the Buzz performs in everyday life.
So Harley, of course, you drove one of these. So tell us.
Yes. So we've been waiting, and I've driven them. I went to Orlando for a big VW meeting where we test drove them in the parking lot. I was at the New York Auto Show, and but we finally got our first ID.Buzz about 10 days ago.
10 days ago.
Yeah, and one of the first ones in the US. And I've been driving it, and the team's been driving it, and here's my hot take. The thing is so much fun. like, I get it, there's quirks to it. It's a first-year model, although it's really not. It's been in Europe, and the software has been around for a couple years. I've noticed none of the glitchiness that you see on some of the forums. I've had nothing but an amazing experience driving. It's not Tesla fast, but it is fast. It corners. I'm actually super impressed the way it corners. Like, I don't know if you're familiar, but in Seattle, like right here, we're in the Soto neighborhood. There's an on-ramp to I-5 and I-90, and you do this big S-curve.
Okay.
And like, I just accelerated through that. And this thing took it like a race car.
Yep.
Super fun. Braking was great. Suspension felt great. I've had no problems charging. But my favorite part is, and I think we talked about this earlier, it's just the attention and like the joy. I mean, I often talk about Peace Vans. We're really just a joy factory here. And like having a vehicle that just organically generates thumbs up, smiles, high fives, hugs. Like, I'm done, like, I'm like that. That's like all I want in the world, is to make people happy. And like the fact that like people like speed up alongside me on the freeway and give me a thumbs up, it's just like super fun. I'm actually taking it to U Village this weekend. That's the very bougie high-end shopping center here in Seattle. And I just like literally like between that and the dog you saw earlier, like the attention we're gonna get is astronomical. So my hot take on the ID.Buzz as a vehicle, it's fantastic.
Thank you for sharing. So we are excited to, of course, do more videos, and we are excited to see more buzzes around.
Yes, of course.
And if you're as excited as we are about converting your ID.Buzz, or maybe getting your ID.Buzz, go to peacevans.com and see what options there are.
Great, thank you.
Cool.
Super fun. Yeah, it's great.
So in the meantime, please subscribe so you don't miss the next episode, because I'm sure we'll talk to Harley again.
I'm here.
Thanks so much for joining us today at Peace Vans as we explore all the amazing possibilities for the ID.Buzz with Harley. We hope that you enjoyed the deep dive into camper solutions and the exciting future of electric road trips.
And remember, you can catch all episodes on your favorite podcasting platforms, as well as YouTube for more visual experience. Thank you, and see you next time.
Thanks.